We are looking for another adventure, Joe.
Ooh.
What doth happen to thine mouth?
Oh. I got my tooth pulled.
All right. And this has been an edition of... You got your tooth pulled? I can't tell. I can't see what tooth got pulled.
Well, we just had Taco Bell. I don't want to, show it to you. Do you want to see
Well,
it?
I mean, is it in the front?
No, it's a molar.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's in the back. It's, yeah. It's weird. I'm still in that stage where I'm kind of it's healing a little bit too, but, your mouth isn't used to it. So
your tongue's looking for the tooth.
Yeah, I was like,
where did it go? Where's the tooth at?
I've got this tick now where I'm like,
Up the side of your mouth.
yeah. A couple of times. So I just did some singing for a practice, singing and painting. And I noticed that a little bit more air coming out that side, just a little bit right there when I'm, I feel like Sid the Sloth or something. Yeah.
Gone, Shirley light.
Beautiful. That's what I sounded like.
Oh.
No, but obviously I've learned to, it doesn't affect it. As you can hear me here, hear me now, hear me here. Most of my addiction and everything seems to be pretty good, but every now and then the tongue, if it finds if it doesn't really seal at the bottom or against the teeth, there it is against the teeth, just a little bit on THs or something like that. Yeah. I'm leaking a little
Air
bit.
leak.
Yeah.
Coming out.
But yeah, no, it was really crazy. You know what? All I really wanted to say was I've had quite an adventure with teeth. Through my parents, mom and dad, they spent so much money on my mouth. So I obviously am very, very thankful for them because I've had some nice teeth most of my life. And, I owe it to a lot of orthodontists.
Orthodontals.
Or is that how you say it? And my parents obviously investing in that. But I pretty much, this is a short way of saying it, I think, because I can't come up with a better way. But it was headgear or the alternative. That's basically we went alternative with it, which meant all braces. 9 years of this, by the way. And it was for a little while, I think it was 2 days a week that I had visits, right? And they would go in and crank things down and change things and keep things moving.
Did you have teeth coming out your eyebrows?
Pretty close. So I fell when I was maybe 4 or something like that off a swing set.
Oh.
And I fell on my front teeth. Fell on them. That's the first thing that hit the ground.
Because they were so far out of your face.
I actually think they looked pretty normal then. It was what happened after that got really crazy. It killed those roots of a few teeth and they had to be pulled. So it was early adult teeth, which could not fit in my mouth. It was where do we go?
So 2 front teeth?
Yeah, I think it was my 2.
And then you had the early adult teeth?
Yeah, moving
so
into positions that shouldn't have been
going on.
Oh man, it was a nightmare. I'm pretty sure I had 4 teeth pulled. I know it was at least 2, but just to make space first.
Right.
And then even then they were coming in so crooked they had to move. All my molars were halfway up my mouth is what it, that's an over exaggeration probably, but they had a lip bumper.
I had braces for a few years too. Only 4.
Did you have a lip bumper? Do you know what you did have a lip bumper? No way.
I had a retainer, a lip bumper too.
I had a retainer top and bottom.
So
what was that? Was that your stomach?
Yeah, my stomach was ground.
Oh.
I was what are you talking about? Yeah, my stomach's
it's yeah, we remember. Lip bumper.
Yeah, lip bumper, it stuck out and then it would push the teeth back.
I didn't know you had one too.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that pain at least a little bit.
Yeah, and I also was learning the trumpet at the time.
Oh, man.
The inside of my trumpet is stained red.
Yeah, from the blood.
From the blood.
Oh, man.
There's also probably
you're a
some
better
spots in the some spots in the school that are like stained by it. Wasn't like every time, but if I played for a long time, it'd
Yeah.
get pretty raw. Because I didn't want to do the wax, because that makes your embouchure even worse. Because they said you could put wax in your
Yep, I did that. Yeah.
your braces, so it's not as sharp and pokey.
Yep, I did that.
But then it
for a
would
while.
like, then it looks like you got
some
kind of
put your
a
lips out in a different way because I played trombone
collagen in
through
your-
it. I tried anyway. I that's where
Trombone?
I failed. I still feel like I
or
failed.
the trombone.
The trombone,
The trombone.
or like Dad says, the trombone.
There's a third way.
There is
The trombone, and trombone.
trombone.
The
It's
trombone.
almost trumbone, and it's an
Trombone.
accent at the tru.
Trombone.
Yeah, trombone. At least that's how I like to
But
imagine
no,
him
so
saying it.
but you got a tooth pulled. Why did you get a tooth pulled now?
So, all right. So fast forward, right after all the 9 years of pain and everything, I've never seen a dentist or an orthodontist, dentist, all the things.
Yeah, you had enough for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I was like, I still have permanent like braces on the opposite side of my lower teeth. I call them that. I don't know what it's actually called, but
It's like a bridge.
basically it's metal and you can see it like that. I don't know if you saw it, but it's like good. Yeah, give them descriptions.
Oh,
Yes, we'll send pictures to the Facebook profile.
sick. The grossest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, good. I like this. It probably is actually, but that's So there's a bar that goes like through my teeth almost.
I probably need that because all of my teeth are perfect except for one tooth.
Oh yeah, shooting back a little bit. Yep.
It kept breaking my retainers.
Oh really?
Where like they kept having to switch them out because it would move perfect, and then it would get up to that point, but then it would start twisting or something.
So your bottom teeth move back is why
Forever.
Yes, forever. It'll never change. At least that's what I was told. And that's when they put in this thing because they said your teeth are going to move the second you stop using
Well, they should have
it.
just done that.
Yep. I'm glad they did. And to this day, it's been permanently installed. And I've never, I guess technically a dentist pulled out one. And he was one. Okay, I lied because I did visit one more dentist one time and that was it. And Mom was like, we're not going back. I don't know if she remembers this, but we went to, there was a dentist in Iron Mountain. And
Was it the same one? That's the one I got all my braces with. Was the
Okay.
guy you went to once.
Yeah.
And then I did my years and years.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel bad. I don't remember exactly. I think I put it out of my mind, but it was
remember his
such a
name,
bad
too.
experience.
Is it Fornetti?
I'm not going to say.
Dr. Fornetti?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
But it was such a bad experience on exactly what happened that we basically was just like, you know what, you're done. Like we've spent the money and
Yeah,
your teeth are fine.
great.
And
Just-
no. So it was just supposed to be for a checkup. And then he got in there and was like recommending, listen, I know that people want to take care of things as they come. And I have my own thoughts about wisdom teeth, for example. I know they can cause a lot of issues. I'm not saying they can't, but I have a hunch that they're one of the easiest things to be like, well, you need your wisdom teeth out. Yeah. $5,000 later, of course you need your wisdom teeth taken
Yeah, I had
out.
all mine taken out at the same
Well,
time.
I didn't, and I've never had any problems with them. And they said I would be experiencing major pain and all the suffering and everything like 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't. Now, most recently, it was
Except for these 4 teeth I had to get pulled.
no. Nah, this one was a cavity. It was just a bad cavity. There was a filling that was on top of the tooth, and like I don't know if it was officially like a crown or what exactly, but the back of it broke and left the tooth exposed.
Wide open.
Yep. And where it was wide open, it just like if food got in there or whatever, there's no way you can get it out. So it just rotted the tooth on the inside, and I got an infection. That's when the wake up call happened. That infection was so like that pain.
So you talk about falling down on your teeth.
Okay. Yeah.
Something happened to me, and this is recently. I must have been like 2nd or 3rd grade.
That's
Right?
recently.
This is very recent. I'm saying the end of the story was recent.
Okay.
So,
I'm listening. I gotta get a little
almost
sip of my
kicked your-
Taco Bell.
Your drink. sip of your Taco Bell is pureed tacos.
Yeah.
So
It's good for you.
So second or third grade, we were on the merry-go-round that was made by the U.S. Army. You know what I mean? It was so heavy. Those things are like metal. It was a red merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Merry-go-round.
I can tell it affects your teeth there.
Yeah, I'm having.
I remember. No, was I there for that event? And
It was at recess or something, and we were playing on it, and one of my friends was in the wintertime, grabbed my hood and pulled me off of it. And I like twisted and fell and hit my front,
canines, like the sharper
just
ones?
between the canines and the front teeth.
Okay, I forgot what those are called. Incisors.
This one here. Yeah, well, like there's the two front teeth and the two next to them, and then it's your canines. It was the front right one. Okay. And I hit that one, and it like jammed way up or whatever. Oh. Then I went right to the dentist, and he pulled it.
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, I just remembered
So
how
then-
that feels, and I think I remember you doing that. Okay, keep going.
Then, then like 3-4 years ago, I was singing on the quartet or whatever. We're traveling, and my tooth starts hurting like crazy. That same tooth.
Yep.
I don't remember that this happened. When we're away from home, we're in Indiana or something like that, and like I'm just dying and dying and dying. We finally find like a dentist that's open, and we go there.
It's bad, man.
And he's like, the pulp has died, like the root is dead.
Yep.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, is there infection? He's like, no. He's like, did you have trauma when you were about second or third grade? And like he could tell how long it took for that to like die. And then he's like, you got to have a root canal. So
Did you get one?
but I couldn't get one there. So he's like, it died and it rotted, I guess, underneath.
Yep, that's what it does.
That's what it was. And
Yep.
it hurt like crazy, like so bad.
Yep.
Couldn't eat, couldn't do anything. But he gave me antibiotics for it, which made it feel better. So enough so I could go home. Then when I got home,
My teeth
we didn't
hurt
have,
all of a
like-
sudden. All my teeth hurt right now.
I didn't have any insurance. So we found a place that like did like a self-pay thing, and
Yep.
they like give you a good deal. So he does it, and it's in this one. It's pretty skinny, but he did a good job. And he's like, it's all cleaned out. Like there's no more feeling in it, whatever. He's like, however, we're gonna let it sit for a day or two for it to completely drain out.
Yep, same.
And he's gonna clean it out, and then we're gonna go back and fill it.
Oh, I got you. Never mind. Not same. Keep going.
He put a temporary filling in there. Well, I never went and did the temporary filling for years. I've had a hole in my tooth this whole time. I just learned to live with it. I never had a cavity in there, never had any problems with it until I wasn't having any problems with it, but I happened to mention it because we took our daughter when she fell and hit her face, and we had to take her to the dentist, and I mentioned it. I was like, by the way, I have a hole. And he's like, oh yeah? Let me take a look. He looked at it. He's like, yeah, there's no filling there. I thought I had a filling there. I was like, yeah, it just feels weird. I feel like there's a hole there. And he's like, yeah, there's nothing there. It's empty all the way up to the root and to your brain.
Yeah, right up into your brain. Dude, you could have gotten an infection and died in your brain.
Yeah, and I've been walking around with years, chewing on
hole,
food, all with a hole
to your brain.
into my soul.
Portal to your brain.
Oh, I had a portal open in my brain.
brain portal.
So he filled it. He cleaned it out. Like he had to re-clean it and take out all the, I guess there's still filling in there. He took it all out, washed it out, let it dry, and then filled it. And it's totally fine.
Wow, man. I've got so many. I got to the point.
I don't think I've ever had a cavity. I don't think.
Really?
I don't think
I've
so.
got a few still that are plaguing me a little bit. It's just because I've swung so hard the other way of like, I just don't want to go in. I don't want to get cleanings. I don't want to get checked up on it, but I need to.
You go to bed with candy in your mouth.
Yeah, just put,
You
know,
take
behind the
Laffy
molars,
Taffy. You take
stick
Laffy
it
Taffy and
all
like
over the
cover it
teeth.
like
Yeah.
a blanket over all
Yeah,
your
oh,
teeth,
yeah.
and then go to bed.
I sleep better that way. I have sweet dreams.
Cookies and milk. And you're like,
Oh, I put that
Oreos.
underneath the Laffy Taffy. So it slowly seeps the juicy flavors of chocolate chips and Oreo
And you
flavoring
just drink a bottle of Coke,
every night.
a 2-liter.
No, I let that sit in my mouth. Swish it around.
Eats away at the enamel.
What
and
are we
everything.
even talking about?
I don't know. We've I've been through. So because when you were talking about you need to get your tooth pulled,
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, don't worry, it's gonna be really fast. What was it? How did he pull it? Because there's different ways of them doing it.
Okay, so
Did he actually pull it? Like grab a pliers and
Yes.
like yank it out?
yes.
See, the other guy we talk about, you're like, I don't want to mention his name. I had to get a tooth pulled. It was a claw. I'm not kidding. It was like this thing. He like put it on there and he like went, and it like scraped it and ripped it out.
Yeah.
It like chopped
Well,
it
this
out.
guy
It was
had
weird.
like it was like a mini scalpel kind of looking tool that was very sharp too.
Get dizzy.
I know I don't want to get everybody super sick. But the worst part, okay, so let me tell you this. All right, they take, I'm sorry about all our, look, this is that episode.
This is life, man.
This is the
This
real-
is real life. Because you're getting to the point where
I'm going to die soon.
your kids.
oh.
Die soon.
It's true, man.
No, that's not
like-
at
I'm
all
like-
what I was going to say.
I'm like half dead
like-
right now, man.
No,
It's
I'm
over.
saying
Life's
your
over,
kids
dude.
are going to go through the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, they've already started. We've
Braces?
already started. Yeah, we're paying money already. Not braces, but they're already like, we're scheduling their appointments basically. So we already know that one has to. And actually braces, yes. Something similar. They aren't actual braces, but they might as well be called that because they're probably worse. They're like spacers that hold the molars from moving forward.
Yeah, I had to have spacers there too.
At one point, I had a lip bumper, top and bottom, retainer, top and bottom, braces, top and bottom, and there was something else. Oh, the chains, like the springs.
The gold chains are on your neck.
No.
Oh.
But these are worse.
You had
They
the big-
hooked on the top of your mouth and on the bottom.
I didn't have those.
I had those so that
I had the rubber
every time you
bands.
talked, they
Yeah.
would pull down. Well, I had that and then a spring-loaded like a spring, like there's a wire that went to a brace on one of the teeth and then back to a molar or whatever it was. And there's a spring in between them that they would replace with stronger tension levels.
I think
or
my
tighten
wife
them, or
had
tighten
one
them.
where they had a key in the roof
Yes,
of her
that's
mouth.
what it was.
It was expander or something.
Oh yeah, those are like kind of like retainers too.
It's like
and they-
reverse torture.
yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it's torture,
No, it's just
but, like-
torture. It's legit torture. Oh, but hey, I wanted to tell you about the tooth. So I go in, they do the thing where they're like, "All right, hey, we're gonna have fun today, ha ha ha. Hey, so what you do for a living and all that stuff, right?" So we're talking,
And you're like,
and then he's like,
famous.
"Aha!" He sneaks in there. I'm just kidding. It wasn't like that at all. But what happens is I sit down in the chair and I'm starting to have these like all the moments start rushing like to me. You got to realize
years
I
of-
lived there. I
Yeah.
lived at I knew
paid rent.
I knew the call buttons.
You paid everybody's
I
rent.
could call every doctor in the place, dentist in the place. I knew their secret buttons on the thing, and the lady would even let me call them when it was time, because I knew what codes to hit. But you remember back in the day, they'd have those like lit up box like buttons that like right.
Yeah.
Okay, well they had a panel
yeah.
that were like
It's also
different
from
calls.
the Soviet war era and
Yeah.
the nuclear power
No,
plants
that's what
is
it looked
they
like
had.
where I went back there. That's what it looked like. Man, anyway. So I was at the point where I'd be like, "Oh, hey, Linda, yeah, I'll call in Dr. Fernell or whatever." And I'd be like, boop, 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 boop. And he'd come in, he'd be like, "Hey, Joe." And he wouldn't even tell me like, "Now I'm going to put the gauze, or like I'm going to,
No, he's just trying to get it over with just like you too.
Right. So, but I would do it. I'd be like, yeah, I'd like, like I'd be putting stuff in my mouth. Like I knew what was next. And then he'd get the little ray gun. I called it and everything. He'd let me hold it sometimes. Like it was crazy. Cause I just saw him every day. It seemed like it wasn't every day, but there were some tears shed and all that when he made a mishap once and just like broke my jaw. And I remember that one because it was the first time he tried to talk stern to me. And I'm like, "I'm not your kid," and walked out.
Joseph, you sit down and you let me
No,
fix your brain.
I think it was because I was crying and I couldn't stop crying. And he was nervous about what other people would think in the offices. And I could tell he got stern out of nervousness. And then I was like, "All right, I'll stop, but I'm getting out of your chair and I'm going to walk out to take care of this, And then we had an understanding from that point on. But I was like, "How about you don't rip my jaw apart and then I won't cry?" It's a really cool thing that happens.
that I will cry.
So I got it. This dentist, he was awesome, man. He was really good. So I'll just start there. He's really, really cool. But he did have a different tool than I thought. And he was cranking so hard down on my jaw. Like I felt like I was lifting him up like with my jaw. Like he was pushing so hard and there was so much pressure and he's like, and
Why was he pushing though?
I don't know. I think he was digging.
Did he-
he was trying
did
to
he
get it up.
Push it through the bottom of your jaw,
Yeah,
and then
he-
remove it out your chest.
That's what it was. I knew I was hurt.
So he's probably trying to get underneath it or something.
I guess. But there was so much like I've never had anybody push
Careful,
down
don't do that. You're gonna hurt me.
on my jaw so hard. I was afraid. I was like fighting back to hold him up.
Yeah,
Like,
don't do that. Don't do that.
I was like, it's gonna pop. My jaw's gonna pop. Come out. But anyway, and then he got the tooth out and he's like, all right, we're gonna seal you up and everything. And
Oh, it's the wrong one.
no, he's like looking at the tooth. He's like, you want to see it? Sure. And she's like getting ready to like finish up. She's cleaning it and he's about to put stitches in. Cause it was pretty legit, pretty, I guess I was a bleeder. Like it was, anyway. And he's like, all right. He's like, oh wait. He's like, there's a little bottom part to this tooth that's missing. And then he like opened me up again. He's like, oh yeah, there's still a piece in there. And I had to go through it again. And he's like jamming it in there. And I was like, oh, I was done. And here I am again. And all the memories, I'm sitting there, you're looking up at the like light and you're just like, what's going on?
Yeah,
Actually,
you look at the light and your eyes are all watery because it's so bright.
and you're crying, but you're just not, it's like,
And
is
then
it pain or is it my
And then when
eyes?
they do the
Is it- I've been so long.
and the water's like spraying you in the eye, and you're like, oh, your eyes are so watery, and your eyes
You're
are hurting
already
so much,
crying it out, and then
and you're trying not to like
getting
cry
those
because they're
rinse
right in your
eyeball.
face.
Oh my goodness. No, the funniest part out of the whole thing though is when she was prepping me. So they give you the shot or whatever to numb everything. So now I'm like, you feel numb? I'm like, yeah, I feel numb. I can't talk normally. And then he starts asking me all the questions, and I'm like, and she's over there like, trying to do stuff while I'm talking. I'm like, would you stop it? Lady?
You're like playing, you're like fencing
yeah,
with your
I'm
tongue.
like,
Ting ting ting.
So the funniest part though, she
When they
said,
tell you to close
"No."
your mouth to suck out the water,
So she did that part. She's like, all right, now close your mouth. I just bit it. I didn't close my lip.
you like bite it off.
She's like, close your mouth. I went, and I just left it open. And then she's like, oh,
Your lips
close your
too.
lips too. I was like,
Oh. And then if you don't let it come out your nose, it sucks out your lungs.
it was just so funny. how-
But you got to think
now
that
close your mouth. And I was like, conk.
it's closed now. Now what do you want? You got to think that technology has been
It was way
changed
better.
since you're
It was
kid,
way better,
right?
It's 100% better. Like I was like, wow, that was a big deal for. I'm sure root canals and other things are way worse. I'm sure. I'm just saying, like, for the level of what just took place, he just ripped a tooth that still had its roots all the way down.
Yeah.
And it was a big one. It was number 30 for those of you who want to know. When he pulled that out with like all his energy, like, and did everything he did. And I was like, I felt pressure. The worst part was the pressure on my jaw, not like anything else,
Yeah.
But and she was amazing. Like how way better than any other experience where you got all these fingers in your mouth. Oh, we got all these fingers in your mouth and everything. And you're just like, I don't know if, so I was numb, not just the side of my tongue and my lips, how it normally happens. And obviously the teeth, gum area, but also like my swallowing was like half,
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, like
Did
trying
I
to
swallow?
swallow.
I don't know if I swallowed.
Yeah, basically. And she's just but she did so good at like making sure nothing was a problem. Like, you choke on your spit or blood or whatever it might be. I don't want to be too gross, sorry, but that's just part of it. but while they're working on you, and you're like you're upside down, or whatever, and you're just like, well, stuff's gonna happen and it's all gonna try to go down my throat. She did all, like, she got everything, like all.
Yeah.
And when they do that, I mean, you're
If
good.
you have somebody handling your anxieties for you,
Yep.
you can.
She was like, oh, and she just anything that was like, oh, that
Yeah.
might be a problem. She was like all over it. So she actually made it the best. So good job to you. I think her name was Jenna. So thank you, Jenna. Good job.
Good job, Jenna, for not traumatizing Joe anymore.
Oh man, I didn't want to talk about it at all. Like at first I thought maybe if I talk about it, I'll feel better. Like I'll tell them I've been here for a night. You know, I've done this. I know all this, all the
And then they're
pains.
like, okay, we don't have to give him any pain, man.
Yeah.
Just strap him down.
Or scare them into like, oh, he's going to be a problem.
He's going to bite me.
Oh, and the lady did say, Jenna, I believe that was her name. She was like, I was like, all right, well, I've never, it's been a while since I've had this process. She's like, okay, well, I was like, about how long? She's like, well, we have a saying around here. The tooth is generally about as stubborn as the person. And I looked at her and I was like, oh boy, like, is this going to be a problem or where do
Stubborn
I fit?
as the person, you're like, I don't want this at all. No part of this do I want.
So I'll just drink some more soda water.
Into the cavity.
Put it right in the hole there. That's great. All right. No, man, there's so many stories with that are a lot of fun. But do you remember the building in Midland?
Yes.
How it had that like weird triangle?
Well,
kind of
in
thing?
Midland, there's a lot of contemporary, mid-century modern architecture, and I think that was one of the buildings that was like that. For Frank Lloyd Wright did
Yeah.
the Dow House and stuff.
Yeah,
in there and everything.
yeah, everything's like influenced by that in that
Yeah.
area. Not everything, but a lot.
But
of
I
things are.
remember there was like the way that the light came over like these walls in the corner.
Yeah.
And they put all the. See, and I was mad because since I never had a cavity, I never got a toy or anything. I never got one.
Really?
Yeah. Because they didn't give you one for not having one. They gave you one if you went through a cavity or something like that.
Oh, to like make you be like,
Make you
here's
feel
your
better.
Yeah, and they'd give you a toothbrush or something. A new
I got
one.
plenty of toothbrushes.
Oh, you got those?
I didn't get the plush
Aw.
dolls or
You should have cried like
bears.
me. Should have cried like a baby.
Like a little baby.
Little baby with
Little
a baby rattle.
The baby rattles.
Oh, speaking of, that reminds me of Karate Kid as we're soft quoting that from the baby rattle part in Karate Kid. Is it 2 or 3? I think it's
2. Because 3 is the...
2. Is that the girl in that one?
No, that's 4. There's 3 of them with
that's right.
LaRusso. The second one is that goes to Okinawa.
So there's a guy. Yes.
Okinawa.
Very nice, very nice. There's a guy who does, you know how it's very popular, obviously, on YouTube to do like reviews or reacts to kind of videos. Well, this guy is a karate teacher in Okinawa, I believe, at least Japan, if not that. And no, because it's in China.
Is his name Mr. Miyagi?
No, but he reviews. He reviewed the videos, like he watches them, and then you get to hear what his comments are about what he's
Like
seen.
the fights and the katas
Yeah.
and the training and stuff.
Yes, it was really fascinating. It was really good. I'll have to send you a link to it. But anyway, you remind me of that because I watched that episode, which I guess you said it was 2. Was it Karate Kid 2?
Karate Kid 2 is the Okinawa one.
Okay.
Okinawa one.
And with the drum. And he started talking about, he described it with not the exact same way that they were using it, but he was like, oh, that was pretty creative because that is a flowing move for blocks or whatever it is.
In the
you know?
Olympics, I saw somebody have that drum. And the figure skate wife, the wife was watching figure skating, not me by myself eating Cheetos on the couch.
No, of course you didn't do that. You don't have cavities, so you don't eat Cheetos.
Actually, that's the secret to no cavities. Is so many Cheetos, the cavities can't get to you.
Because it coats.
I don't have the
teeth?
cavities that crawl on my teeth. I don't have those. No, but they had like
gross.
the little drum, you know, with the 2. It looks like a what do you call those? The paddle,
Yeah. The
rubber ball that's got the
that
string
bounces
to the
back.
paddle.
Yeah, kids
What is that?
don't
What
know
is
what
that
is
called?
nowadays. They don't.
Paddle-
It's like they think that's Stone Age.
They're
stuff.
called something, but it's like 2 of them, one on each side, and it's thicker in the middle. It's a drum, and
Paddle
you can
ball.
go
Paddle.
back and forth, and it's like it's like supposed to be like momentum. Like somebody comes at you one way, you deflect it and hit them with the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. The baby rattle.
The baby rattles.
You'll have to watch the movie, everybody. To we don't endorse or say that anything on that video is anything that we believe or endorse, but you should watch it.
Entertainment purposes only. And that's a great way to segue into the end of this podcast.
Oh, man,
Thank
it
you
was
for
fun.
joining us for another edition of Jokin' Around. I'm Jokin', and this is Around, and together we're
podcast.
podcast.
So crazy.